Hey everyone, in the previous video I will discuss selection of base from unsymmetrical ketones. Okay, so basically this is the topic, just I skip it. So today I will discuss this. When sterically hindered strong base, when such as LDA is used in a aprotic solvent, kinetic enolate are formed and it rapidly removes proton from the less hindered side. Okay, so if LDA is used here, LDA act as a base, not nucleophile. So there are two position from this, the hydrogens are abstract. Okay, so kinetic, basically kinetic enolates is formed and it is stable enolate. Okay, so there is a question you have to do yourself, and this is a very important class for your PGT chemistry. So reaction of enolates, okay, and what are the reactions, okay, from these enolates, and the portion is very much important. Enolate ion is nucleophile in nature, and so it can react with variety of electrophiles. Okay, so if enolate ion here withdraw and a electrophile, then what is the product? Okay, so basically the reactions are, this is the example of enolate. Okay, so if RX, that is alkyl halide, is used, halides are chloride, bromide or iodide or OTS. Okay, the alkylation reaction of enolates is possible here. Okay, next, if RCHO, that is an aldehyde, is present, ketone is present, then condensation reaction is occur. If an ester is present with enolates, it can react and a acylation of enolates occur. If alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound is there, then conjugate addition of enolates is occur, and it is called Michael addition or 1,4 addition reaction. If halogens in are reagent, then halogen of enolates are occur. Okay, so alkylation reaction of enolates will be covered later in the segments. First I will discuss condensation reaction. Okay, so condensation reaction, basically reaction of different enolates with aldehyde and ketones. Okay, so enolate ions and aldehyde and ketone, and this is the condensation reaction. Here partial enolate is formed, so this the product is formed. Okay, so the there are two species needed, one the enolate of aldehyde or ketone and another aldehyde or ketone, then condensation reaction is occur. Okay, if enolate of ester is present and a aldehyde or ketone is present, then Reformatsky reaction is possible. If enolate ion of anhydride is anhydride and there is a ketone or aldehyde, that is Parkin reaction. Okay, if enolate of active methylene compounds and a aldehyde or ketone, then nomonazal reaction is occurred, and these reactions are very much important. The mechanism, the intermediate, the product, basically the RDS step. Okay, all types of questions are asked from this. Okay, so if we use a phenol from rather than enolate ion with iminium ion. Okay, so this is managed reaction. Okay, enol of aldehyde and ketone plus iminium ion, that is imine, that is a double bond and a amine is present here in the iminium ion. Okay, so today I will discuss only aldol condensation. Okay, so basically enolizable aldehyde or ketone can undergo condensation in the presence of a basic or acidic condition to afford beta hydroxyaldehyde or beta hydroxy ketone. Overall reaction is called aldol condensation. Okay, in case of aldol condensation, there is a 10% baryta or Na which is required. Okay, so basically two molecules of aldehyde or ketones are needed here, and the base, that is NaOH or KOH or baryta is present here, and the beta hydroxyaldehyde is produced. Next, if acetone is used, then beta hydroxyketone is produced. Okay, if cyclohexanone is here, then a cyclic alpha beta unsaturated compound is formed. Acid catalyzed aldol reaction in presence of acidic medium, that is aldehyde or ketone get protonated to give enol. Okay, so the reaction mechanism. In the first step, formation of enol by protonation, that is enolization step. First, that is acidic, as this is a acidic medium, H plus is here, so oxygen get protonated. Okay, then a enol formed. Now we have aldehyde and its enol in the reaction, that is partial enolization is occur here. So the enol then adds to the protonated carbonyl groups with another molecule of aldehyde and ketone. Okay, this is the next step or second step of the mechanism. This is the this enolization, this enolate is add to this carbonyl center. Okay, and this is the product, and it is called aldol. Okay, so this is a unstable in acidic medium. So till here the reaction is known as aldol reaction. Okay, uh, however, it is impossible to stop the acidic catalyzed reaction at protonation step. Usually the lone pair of oxygen of hydroxy group takes photon from the reaction mixture and it get eliminated in the form of water molecule. Okay, and this is known as dehydration, and enone or enol is formed by E1 mechanism. Step 3, that is acid catalyzed dehydration. Okay, here water molecule is released from the aldol. Okay, so basically this is the third step of the mechanism. Notes that is in the reaction acid function are catalyst which get regenerated in the last step. At low temperature aldol addition products form, at high temperature condensation product form. Okay, so the overall reaction is not very exothermic. Aldol is formed in 50 to 60% yield. Generally dehydration occurs, so it is more common to synthesize aldol under basic condition. Okay, so basically normally alcohols do not undergo dehydration in the presence of a strong base, but the presence of carbonyl group renders alpha position mildly acidic, thereby enabling dehydration reaction to occur. Okay, so to isolate alcohol, very low temperature or very dilute base must be used. Okay, in case of base catalyzed aldol reaction, when treated with a small amount of dilute NaOH at room temperature, aldehyde ketones undergo base catalyzed dimerization to give aldol or ketone. Okay, so mechanism of this: in the first step, hydroxide ion, that is OH minus, it is a weak base, removes alpha hydrogen from the aldehyde to form a carbon ion intermediate which is stabilized at enolate ion. So from this the question is asked, what is the intermediate in case of acid catalyzed reaction and in case of base catalyzed reaction. Okay, so this is the mechanism here. Next, if you can note this, the first step is reversible, stabilizing equilibrium between reactant and product. Okay, so for aldehyde conversion to aldol product is about 50%. Okay, why equilibrium established? That is because of the fact that a hydroxide base is not a strong base enough. Okay, so to convert all these starting aldehydes into the corresponding enolate ion, and it is bringing equilibrium. Okay, so basically partial product is formed. Since first step is reversible and slow, so it is the rate determining step. So this is the questions from condensation reaction, what is the RDS step. Okay, so the reactions are given there, and you have to ask what is the RDS step of the aldol condensation reaction. Okay, so proton transfer to and from carbon atom can be slow. Okay, so in the next step, since most of the aldehyde molecules remain unionized, therefore enolate ion act as a carbon ion nucleophile and attacks the electrophilic carbonyl carbon of a second molecule of aldehyde, producing an alkoxide ion. Okay, so this is the first step. Okay, and alkoxide ion is formed here. Next, in the third step, alkoxide ion removes a proton from a molecule of water to form aldol product. Okay, so 3-hydroxybutanol here is the compound. These three steps combines to get are known as aldol addition. Okay, so mechanism for ketone, and this is the ketone mechanism. Okay, so in the next class I will discuss this.